Welcome back to MotoringBox. I'm Sean McKellar and today we are doing some myth busting when it comes to saving fuel. Now, cars have been around for over 100 years and it feels like as if for 99 of those years people have been complaining about how much fuel costs, even though I maintain that fuel is one of the cheapest costs when it comes to running a car. So there are lots of devices out there on the market, from the infamous polarizer in the 1980s of Peter Brock, through to devices you can buy today which run from anything like a little LED light on a box which you plug into your car, which does absolutely nothing. And then you've got perhaps the granddaddy of them all, which we're looking at today. And in Australia, it's called a Hiclone, and I've got one of them in this little box right here. Now, this is not motorized, it is simply a hunk of metal which you put into your intake. It has some blades around the perimeter of it. When the air comes through the pipe and hits those blades, it's going to start swirling, and apparently, well, the logic goes anyway, that when the air is swirling, it'll flow through the rest of the intake more easily, through your manifold, through the runners into the cylinders. So before we open this thing up and have a look, I want to run through some of the claims that are inside this little leaflet which came with the product when I ordered it. So, more power and economy with less pollution. That sounds like a win in my book. More than 25 years after Hiclone was first created, Hiclone swirl combustion is now being copied and used by all car manufacturers. That sounds like a pretty big claim. Even hybrid Toyota Prius improves from 4.9 litres per 100 kilometres to 4.5 litres per kilometre with Hiclone. So this is where my spidey senses started to tingle. But let's keep going. Worldwide awards for design. I wonder if that's like your local bakery which is claiming their pie won some competition from some town you've never heard of. But it is backed up with a 30-day money-back guarantee. And I wonder if I should test that, because this thing cost me 160 Australian dollars. But anyway, let's keep going. Increased mileage. Hiclone's swirling effect makes fuel particles finer and allow up to 85% of the fuel to be burnt. And here we have some savings. So this car is EFI, the one we're going to be testing it on, 10 to 15% fuel savings. If you got a diesel, you get 5 to 10. Look, if we can get these figures, suddenly this 160 bucks is going to be money well spent. Swirling, fast burn, near complete combustion increases power output. Let's have a look at this little chart here, because there is a comedy of errors going on here. On the left axis, we've got power in kilowatts. I will convert it to horsepower for any overseas viewers. But it starts off at 32 kilowatts, 44 kilowatts, 560 kilowatts, 68 kilowatts, 80, 92, 104. So there is a real spike in power there in the middle. And yeah, look, that's pretty encouraging. So let's keep going. Along the bottom axis, we've got speed in kilometers per hour, starting off at 60, then going back to 0, then 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. So I guess they must have started at 60 and then hit the brakes and then bang, straight up to 100 and kept going from there. So we've got the final axis here on the right, which is torque, which is in Newton meters, but that looks more like RPM. Yeah. So look, I don't think, so look, to be honest guys, this is a shambles. This table means absolutely nothing. It is suggesting that Hiclone is increasing power sort of in the mid-range. It is suggesting torque is boosted a little bit, sort of low down at approximately 0 kilometers per hour, if you look at the axis on the chart. But this is nuts, to be honest. But I'm gonna remain impartial, so let's just finish this thing off. For turbo vehicles, installing Hiclones before and after the turbo gives better results. A similar improvement is achieved on non-turbo vehicles when 2 or more Hiclones are installed. My budget only stretched to 1. Like, you're gonna be outlaying 320 Australian dollars if you want 2 of these son of a bitches. So look, 1's enough, I think, for me. But it does offer improved combustion. Better flame propagation gives more even downforce on pistons, reducing noise and vibration. Here we have a little diagram promising to
save you dollars, save you dollars.
You got your standard combustion, which reckons after 10 milliseconds that only a tiny little bit of fuel is burned. Whereas Hiclone, look at that, is clearly a cyclone in your cylinder. So more efficient combustion of the fuel results in greatly reduced levels of exhaust pollution. So I cannot measure pollution today, I haven't got that equipment, but hopefully we can see that 10 to 15% fuel savings on an EFI engine. So I cannot put this off any longer. Let's have a look. And this is what I spent $160 on. Can you see that? The air is gonna flow through this thing like a cyclone. And I did liaise with the seller on eBay, and he wanted to know exactly what car I had, exactly what engine, because he was gonna team it with the exact Hiclone for that application. So this should be the ideal situation and setup and test for this product. Is the Hiclone going to live up to those bold claims in the brochure? Let's get it installed and then we'll hit the road. Now, installing a Hiclone could not be easier. On most cars, you just need to take off your intake piping and put it in the correct way and then reassemble everything. So what I will be doing is I will be disconnecting my battery as well, just to reset my car's ECU to take advantage of this radically altered intake piping setup. So let's just take this whole pipe here off so we can see everything a lot better. Get that out of the way. And here's where the magic happens. So the airflow arrow is indicating it's going that way, which is what we want. And I'm going to drop this beast. Oh, she's giving me a tight fit. Oh, it's gonna be, geez. This is gonna be epic. Let's just massage her in there a little bit. Look at that, precision. All right, now we just need to refit our intake pipe. I just can't believe after all these years, I finally own a Hiclone. It's gonna change my life and I'm just thrilled. I can't wait to see how it performs. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remain impartial. So if it actually works and does what it promises, even though I don't know how that graph can really promise anything, it deserves to be celebrated. So look, I will let you know. I'll be honest, I'm going to perform the test honestly to give this thing a chance. And I will give you a disclaimer from this point onwards. Everything I say is my own personal opinion. So I think it's about time we hit the road to do a little bit of scientific testing. All right guys, so we're out on the road about to commence our test. Now, I've thought very carefully about the sort of test I wanted to run today, and the Hiclone has been in this car for about 2 weeks now. So as far as the test goes, I reckon this 10 to 15% fuel economy gain, which they are promising with this product, would definitely be realized in a sort of highway cruise style condition. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be hitting a stretch of highway, and we're going to be running at a constant speed with the cruise control, because I reckon as well, my theory with a lot of these people that are saying they've gotten gains out of products like this has to do completely with their driving style, because it is well documented. There's been studies that your mood can affect your driving. If you're angry, you're going to be driving harder, you're going to be using more fuel. So what we're doing today is going to take the human out of the equation altogether. We're going to be running on cruise control at about 100 kilometers per hour. And we're going to do 2 runs down the highway and back again to 2 particular gantries that go over the highway, which is going to be our start and finish. So I'm just going around now. We're going to get back onto the highway, and I've already got the cruise control set to, on this car it is 105, because I've worked out the speedo on this car when it reads 105. It is by GPS doing exactly 100 kilometers per hour. So I can hit resume on the cruise. I can take my foot off the accelerator, and we are going to ease our way up to 100 kilometers per hour. And this car as well has climate control, so I've manually set that to a temperature and a fan speed. I'm trying to remove all variables that I can from this test. I'm trying to do a thorough job. Even though I am skeptical of the product, I do want it to succeed if it is actually working. And if possible, I'm going to leave my foot off the brakes, off the accelerator, unless the traffic gets in the way. If there are any variables like that, I'll try and repeat or replicate it in the follow-up test without the Hiclone. But here's our little gantry. Sort of looks like the perimeter fence from Jurassic Park, but it is actually just the entry to Ipswich. So here we go. So we're going to reset our litre per 100 kilometre trip computer reading right now. So it is ticking away. It's going to take a while to settle down. But we can settle in now on our journey. We're coming up to our finishing point, which is the overpass just over the top of the hill here. So we are currently sitting at 10.4 litres per 100 kilometres. So here's the overpass, still 10.4. Going once, going twice. Sold. 10.4 litres per 100 kilometres for this run. So that is good to know. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn around and we're going to do exactly the same thing in reverse, so that we can sort of average the two runs, and then that'll be the final figure for the Hiclone. So we're coming up to the bridge. I'm going to reset my trip computer again. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, she's off. And yeah, let's see how the reverse run goes. Alrighty guys, that was a pretty good run. Minimal time off the cruise. It was nice and open for most of it, a little bit of traffic at the end. But I have been able to maintain my speed and kept it on cruise almost the entire time. So we are approaching the Gantry Bridge. We're currently at 10 litres per 100 kilometres. Let's see if we can eke out another 0.1 or 0.2. If not, that's where we're going to be sitting. So here we go. We're on 9.9, going once, going twice, going 3 times, 9.9, that's it. So we're going to pull over down here. I'm going to whip the Hiclone out with the engine running because I don't want to lose my cruise control resume speed memory setting. Right, so we got the Hiclone off. You can throw that in there. I reckon it's done precisely nothing, but we're about to find out. So we've got this car still set exactly as it was as per the first test. We're still at 20 degrees on the climate control, fan speed 6. And I know trip computers are not perfect, but whatever sort of inconsistencies that trip computer has or might have is going to be the same for both. So as far as I'm concerned, that is completely a non-issue. It's the percentage difference that matters. So 10%, both of those figures were around 10 litres per 100 kilometres, so it stands to reason that we should gain, or rather go up by an additional litre per 100 kilometres per hour roughly. So instead of low 10s or 10, it should be around 11. So we're going to hit resume. So let me know in the comments below, what do you reckon? Is this fuel saver Hiclone going to save us any money at all? If I had to bet, I reckon it's going to make the economy a little bit worse. So hopefully this run both ways will be a little bit better. So here we go. We've got our City of Ipswich electrified perimeter fence. I'm going to hit reset on the trip computer now. So off it goes. Let's see what happens. Okay guys, end of the first run without the Hiclone. We are approaching the bridge. We are currently sitting at 9.9 litres per 100 kilometres. So about half a litre less. Let's see if we can get any more before we get there. It was a pretty consistent run, pretty similar to before. So going once, going twice, going 3 times, done, 9.8. So look, that is kind of interesting. We didn't get anywhere near the advertised 10 to 15% gain in fuel economy. So to me, this is a really good real-world test of this product. We cannot do this in a laboratory, but to me, this is the next best thing. So we're running back the other way. We're back at 105 on the speedometer. We are approaching the bridge once again for the final stretch. Let's hope that traffic is consistent to last time. And yeah, interested to see what happens. So here we go in 3, 2, 1, go. Right, we're off. See you soon. All right, sit rep, we are nearing the end of our second run without the Hiclone, and that was a really consistent run, I reckon. The traffic is very similar, and I have been on cruise almost all the time. There was one moment, just like last time, that I had to disengage, but I held the speed nice and close to where it's meant to be. I think this is a really good representation, a good comparison. And our previous run this direction was 9.9 litres per 100 kilometres. We are currently sitting at 9.1, so it's gone the other way again. We are still at 105 on the speedo, just to confirm. Still at 20 degrees on fan speed 6. Everything is the same. Just gotta watch out for the learner driver. I might have to go back into the other lane again. But yeah, look, it's even dropped to 9. So here's the bridge coming up. It's the end of our test. My camera's just cut out, it's out of battery. 9.0. Going once, going twice, going 3 times, 9.0. That's it. That's the end of the test. Wow, okay. Look, I can't say I'm surprised, but it really does back up what I've sensed ever since I installed that Hiclone into the intake. I've owned this car for over 2 years, and straight away it felt to me like it was down on power. Honestly, it did. It just felt a little bit more sluggish off the line. And when you think about it, it kind of makes sense because the Hiclone is sitting in the middle of your engine's intake. And anything in the intake is going to be a restriction, no matter what shape it is. So let's get off the highway here. 9.0, I can't believe that. Let's do some calculations. We know the Hiclone lost, but by how much? What's the average both ways? So 10.4 plus 9.9 divide 2 gives you an average of 10.15 litres per 100 kilometres. So 10.15 for the Hiclone. So 9.8 and 9 are the two figures for, I can work that out already, but let's just do it to make sure it's official. Divide 2, 9.4 litres per 100 kilometres without the Hiclone. So look, I paid $160 for this chunk of metal, which is essentially garbage, in my opinion, okay? Some people, there's gonna be people in the comment section saying, I installed Hiclone in my vehicle, I got gains, I gained fuel economy, I gained power. But really, how did you test it? You know, you could put one in your car, you could drive to work every day for 2 weeks, measure your fuel economy from your trip computer, do the same thing again, but the traffic's different, the weather's different, your driving habits are different. You need to do a test like I just did, which is as consistent as possible. So we paid $160 for the Hiclone and we lost, on average, almost half a litre per 100 kilometres of petrol. So that is not a huge loss, but it is still a loss, and after $160, that is the biggest loss of them all. This is as consistent as I can test this product. In my opinion, it is a waste of money. A huge waste of money. But hey, if you're interested, if you've had gains by using this product, knock yourself out, use it. But in my opinion, this thing is a con. It is a sham product, and I've not seen any manufacturers copying this device. But sure, manufacturers do things with the shape of their intakes to try and get the air to flow through them more economically, but I've not seen a chunk of metal with fins on it sitting directly in the airflow like a Hiclone does. So to me, it is not worth buying. Let's just put it that way. Let's put it that way. You saw the brochure, you saw the bogus claims. How can you trust that product after someone can't even proofread their own brochure? And it's been on sale for 30 years. Almost 30 years. How long do you need to proofread something? Makes me angry. And it should make you angry too, that products like this can exist and can be sold on public marketplaces like eBay, on websites, with no recourse, you know? So look, it didn't work on an AU Falcon, a 4-litre Falcon. If it doesn't work on this car, then what is it gonna work on? This is the kind of car that people would be looking for fuel savings. And the Hiclone is not gonna deliver them, in my opinion, in my experience. Hiclone, I do not recommend it, but feel free to make up your own mind. If you got any questions or comments, do put them in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. This has been fun. And if you have any other products that you'd like me to test out in the future, let me know and I'll see what I can do. So thank you very much for watching. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.